Someone's burning things. You can see all the smoke behind me, it absolutely stinks.
What's the matter?
When I get home, I'm going to have to sort out the bass guitar again, because we set it up yesterday, but the temperature change has been ridiculous. It went from like 4 or 5 degrees a couple of days ago, probably like a half a week ago, to like 17, 18, I think it's about 21 degrees Celsius today. It's the middle of, well, end of February. It's basically warped the neck of the bass again, so got to do it again. Unfortunately as well, Jamie has hurt his finger. He sprained his middle and his ring fingers, so he can't actually play bass on his fretting hand. So it's like a last minute disaster. So I've got to quickly get the bass parts in shape, but basically do it myself. Jamie's coming around at some point to help me sort out some of the bass parts to play them like as close to how he plays them as possible. It's a real bummer, you know. We wanted to be able to play our own instruments and it will be like an honest representation of how it sounds. At the end of the day, if Jamie can't play bass, we've got to record the bass parts, we've got to get it done, so I've got to do it. I'm a competent bass player, but I'm nowhere near as good as Jamie is, so we have to work really hard to make sure they're up to scratch. You want to be a film star, don't you? Oh. He loves kissing me as well. At least someone does, right? Gonna get a shift on before this whole forest burns down. Should hopefully see you in a bit, and I'll walk you through the bass setup, all the equipment we're using and all that stuff. Yeah, see you later. So essentially, what we've got here is, well, first of all, we're running the bass DI into the computer because we live in a flat ceilings. Not good. Lots of bass, lots of noise, and neighbours don't like it. So running DI just for practicality's sake. This mess is the DI setup. First of all, here is the bass itself. Ibanez GSR 200. It's very cool. I gave it 2 setups over the past couple of days. Changed the pickup height as well. And also had to resolder one of the pots, which was not fun, but it is what it is. I've done multimeter checks on all the cables as well, because we had a dodgy cable, which turned out to be this one here. This XLR is dodgy as hell, and I can't fix that one because I can't actually get into the end to fix the cables. So yeah, that runs directly into this, which is the SansAmp bass driver DI. Very, very cool. It's an active DI box, so it needs power, phantom power is coming through. This weird contraption, this is running the parallel out directly into this, which is a passive DI box. So the active DI box sends one signal that is amped, so one signal that has been affected by the SansAmp signal, straight through the blue XLR into the first input, and then the parallel out, which is an unaffected signal, which is basically just a clean, dry signal that goes straight through to this passive DI box here, which then goes via another XLR to the second input here. And this also has another parallel out, which we are using to go into my Polytune 2 Mini to make sure everything's in tune while we're recording. This is the interface. It's the Focusrite 2i4, I think. The phantom power, as I said, is powering the SansAmp, which obviously is active, so it needs powering for the capacitor. The built-in preamps are basically at the same level, because the SansAmp has a minus 20 dB on the XLR, which allows us to get the levels the same. Otherwise, it's too hot a signal, and the preamp has to be turned down really low, and you can't get much like precise measurements out of it. And that is going straight into Reaper here. So this is the file for Charon. All the drum takes have been put together, and they haven't been fully comped yet. I'm just using like a drum take that's pretty bang on the grid to record to. 2 bass tracks here, got one for bass DI, one for bass SansAmp. The reason we're taking a separate DI track as well as the SansAmp is that if we don't like the sound of the SansAmp, or we decide later on it doesn't fit in the mix, or Jamie doesn't really like it, or whatever the case may be, we can just use the DI and then use a digital amp sim and a cabinet impulse response to just simulate a bass amp instead. But funnily enough, I'm actually really liking the DI tone on the bass. Is actually really nice, especially the two blended together. It's really strange. The actual blend of the two different sounds of the two DI boxes actually creates a really like pleasant tone, and because it is slightly clipping on the master fader over here, it has like a nice distortion to it without being like super overdriven. I also down here have the Guitar Pro, all of our music is on Guitar Pro. We're very professional about this. Make sure everything is like somewhere we can all access it, so I can check the bass part and make sure I'm playing the right part, because usually I don't play these parts, and I want to do them as best I can so as not to do Jamie a disservice. Painted. Fuck.
Did you get it?
I did it, Mom! I did it! Bastard!
Play the fucking guitar.
Shut up!
Play the fucking guitar part. I hate this fucking song. Penis! What the fuck? That sounded like a fucking elephant fart. What the fuck was that? Sounded like fucking Les Dennis.
Who the fuck's that? Who the fuck is Les Dennis?
The guy that does fucking Family Fortunes. Oh, you fucking bitch, don't tell me you clipped. Miss. Don't think that's correct. That's what it is. Let's go in with the down bit because it's just not strong enough.
I don't think it's an octave, I think it's a fifth after.
I'm pretty sure it's an octave. I'm looking at it. No, you are correct. Yeah, nice one. Freya.
Hey baby.
Hey, sweetie.
Hey, ya baby.
What's the matter?
What have you been up to?
Willies. Miss cock bollock in a soup. Ah. Nope. a bastard. Cock, bollock, dick, soup. Dick wank. I think that might have been it.
So, Jordan, how is it being a guitarist but playing the bass?